Welcome back. And where are the Bitcoin? Do they have the Bitcoin? Well, we're going to find out in today's video. Finance Lot said on X, Saylor appears to be getting sweaty after refusing to publish on-chain proof of Bitcoin reserves last year. Now, this was a video from 2025 where he was asked about, putting Bitcoin proof of reserves on their website, right? Because they have this whole dashboard about all their Bitcoin and all of that. But they haven't published any proof of reserves just yet. Well, Michael Saylor posted this on X saying, "We buy real Bitcoin. We audit our custodians. We don't rehypothecate. You shouldn't either." Now, this was all in response to a big tweet thread that basically was on X that Michael Saylor ended up responding to. And it all surrounds the conversation about proof of reserves and whether the Bitcoin that they say they have, that they actually have. And it's not even saying that there's fraud involved, which we're going to go into. It's saying that there's potential points of failure where the Bitcoin could get stolen, could get hacked, could just be more in a more risky situation, like rehypothecation or lending and borrowing. And so in today's video, we're going to be exploring why MicroStrategy has not posted proof of reserves, whether they actually have the Bitcoin, and whether it even matters whether they prove that they have the Bitcoin or not, or whether the coin is being rehypothecated or moved or used for other purposes or not. We're going to discuss all of that. And we're also going to talk about the other Bitcoin treasury companies like Nakamoto, Strive, 21, and Metaplanet. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. That way you never miss a new video. This is really important in my view because it gives us a conversation and an understanding of how the overall crypto markets are potentially at risk because of this. And even the fear that the Bitcoin isn't there, or it is being rehypothecated, or it is in a riskier scenario besides just being in a wallet. This could just create a situation that causes panic in the markets and causes more outflows from MicroStrategy, from Bitcoin, from some of these other Bitcoin treasury companies as well. So let's get into it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. You could also become a channel member by clicking join, and let's get into it. And so, yeah, last year, there was a conversation that was had at some conference about whether they would basically post their proof of reserves. And I figured, let's watch this video. This is again from 2025, so it's dated by now. But I don't think that the overall situation with proof of reserves with MicroStrategy has changed just yet. And let's be clear, guys. Because MicroStrategy is one of the largest holders, right, and they're one of the largest buyers in the market, any concern or actuality, not just with MicroStrategy, but even if one of these other Bitcoin treasury companies is rehypothecating or does have a theft or does have a hack or doesn't post their proof of reserves and then it's found out that they don't have all the Bitcoin, there's contagion effects that could affect MicroStrategy, even if MicroStrategy is not doing any of that, right? Because again, Michael Saylor is saying that they're not rehypothecating, that they audit their custodians, that all the Bitcoin is there. It's not being used for any other purpose, right? So we just have to take Michael Saylor at his word. But we're in the crypto ecosystem, which is don't trust, verify, which is the idea of proof of reserves, where they just post the wallet addresses and you can see the actual Bitcoin. For this purpose, I'm just believing what Michael Saylor is saying. But again, even if MicroStrategy is not doing any of that, what if one of the other Bitcoin treasury companies or Ethereum treasury companies or Solana treasury companies are? Right? What did we see last cycle, right? We saw Celsius go down, then Voyager go down, then Terra Luna go down, then 3 Hours Capital go down, then BlockFi go down, and then FTX went down. And they weren't all connected directly, but they were indirectly connected. And the fear of one going down and the others, when FTX went down, everybody thought Grayscale was going to go down. They thought Coinbase was going to go down. People thought Binance was illiquid as well. And that none of that was true, but the fear in the market, right? The sentiment changed everything for all of crypto, not just for FTX, not just for Solana, for all of crypto. And that's the thing to keep in mind here. Even if MicroStrategy is not doing any of that, what if the other companies are? So that brings us, before we get to the actual, I'm going to show you the actual back and forth between Michael Saylor and Jameson Lopp. But Jameson Lopp said third-party audits don't meet the threshold for don't trust, verify. That requires first-party audits. A third-party audit merely shifts trust around, right? Because you're putting it on somebody else. Oh, well, they're checking it. They're making sure everything's good. They're doing it. That way, if there is an issue, they're going to be like, well, it's their fault. It's not our fault because they were supposed to be checking this. That's essentially what Jameson Lopp is saying here. He said, this is why self-custody and node running are such powerful concepts in Bitcoin. They make first-party audits easy, effectively saying you become a node yourself, and then you go and verify on your own node the ledger, the Bitcoin ledger that has been validated by hundreds or thousands of these other nodes around the world, and make sure that the Bitcoin is actually there. Jameson Lopp said that he thinks about this all the time. Are these auditors, right, these third-party auditors that these Bitcoin treasury companies are using, are they spinning up nodes? Are they verifying balances at the addresses themselves through their node? Are they ensuring that no clients hold claims to that same Bitcoin? He said, I'm skeptical, but ultimately we just don't know. It's a black box. And that's the risk, right? Because we don't know. And that's a black box, meaning we don't have any insight into it. And for a publicly traded company, that is concerning, right? It's not even about do they have the Bitcoin, right? And a lot of people were in the comments talking about fraud and is Jameson saying that MicroStrategy being fraudulent? I don't even think that's what Jameson was trying to get at. I think his overarching thing was you don't know. Like one of these third-party auditors could be stealing Bitcoin. One of them could be rehypothecating Bitcoin and saying, oh yeah, everything looks great. That's, I think, what Jameson was getting into. There's just more points of failure when you're using third-party auditors. So this was the original tweet that was posted out by this user who's had a Bitcoin strategy at Smarter Web UK. He said Strategy has acquired 40,150 Bitcoin so far in 2026. Only 11,700 has been mined so far. Eventually, the Bitcoin price must go higher, much higher. Now, in response to this tweet, Jameson Lopp said, your thesis is sensible under the assumption that MicroStrategy is buying real Bitcoin. Does Strategy actually verify that their Bitcoin only belongs to them and isn't rehypothecated? I'm skeptical. Now, this is the tweet that Michael Saylor directly responded to and said, we buy real Bitcoin, we don't rehypothecate. Now, Jameson Lopp responded saying, but how do you know your custodians don't? Meaning, how do you know your custodians don't rehypothecate the Bitcoin themselves? Again, when Voyager and Celsius were around, you would hold your coins on their exchange. And they say, we're custodying it. We're not using your coins for anything like trading, or we're just holding your coins. But that's not what they were doing. What they were doing behind the scenes, where they were taking your coins, lending it out, and they were borrowing it themselves and then trading the market in a downtrending cycle. And they lost. And then they doubled down with more customer funds. And then they lost that. And then eventually they collapsed, right? And that's what Jameson Lopp is asking here. How do you know your custodians don't rehypothecate? Presumably, they put your Bitcoin in segregated wallets that you can monitor. People ask for proof of reserves since they don't even know what monitoring or assurances MicroStrategy has put in place. Multiple layers of trusted black boxes make folks nervous. And I would agree. He said in another tweet, a perspective on the absurdity of the strategy using trusted third parties to custody their Bitcoin. For the cost of a single weekly Bitcoin purchase, hundreds of millions of dollars, MicroStrategy could afford to buy any number of companies that specialize in Bitcoin custody, thus pulling the expertise in-house. Now, this goes into a different conversation that we've had as well about these Bitcoin treasury companies, is that they're not cash flowing businesses, most of them. And even if they are cash flowing, like MicroStrategy does have a software business, they don't really make that much money, right? Compared to their Bitcoin focus. So why isn't MicroStrategy taking any of the money that they raise? We're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars. Why haven't they taken any of that to buy any cash flowing businesses? I mean, what Jameson Lopp is saying here is correct. They could buy a company that custodies crypto and monitors the network and monitors those addresses. They can do that And then they could also have a cash flowing business. I mean, they could say, well, we work in Bitcoin market intelligence. We have Bitcoin custody, institutional grade custody platform that we now own as well. I mean, that would make sense. It's in the Bitcoin world. It's continuing to grow the Bitcoin ecosystem, and they have direct control, and it's their own. So they could say, yeah, we have third party auditors that help us, but we also have our own in house as another layer of security for our Bitcoin. Because just putting everything on somebody else, it doesn't seem like you want to be the largest Bitcoin holder without, I mean, I'm not saying Coinbase, like Coinbase, Fidelity, these are some of the custody providers that MicroStrategy uses. I think for the most part, they're very secure, very good companies. But for what Michael Saylor is saying that he's doing to Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin is pristine and it's the best thing in the world that's ever happened to the world and ever will happen to the world, why are they not buying companies to help advance the technology and also help their company, right? So Jameson Lopp has a really good point here. Now, Jameson Lopp also said, yes, they have 3 or 4 custodians. Interestingly, the type of diversification that they have with 3 or 4 custodians, while it decreases the chance of a single catastrophic loss, it also increases the chance of a loss in general, since there are even more potential points of failure. And I would agree with that as well. It's a very interesting point. And so Jameson Lopp said, trust me, bro, is rarely an acceptable answer in this space. Talking about people trusting the fact that Michael Saylor is saying, well, we have these trusted third parties and we don't really hypothecate and we're buying real Bitcoin. And Jameson Lopp is saying that's not good enough. Saying that as Michael Saylor and putting it in a tweet is still not good enough. He wants to see the proof of reserves. And I think that as an investor, you have to question why they're not releasing proof of reserves. It could be for many different reasons and totally like benign reasons that they're doing it. But why? Why won't they put proof of reserves, right? Because again, there's already tracking wallets that they believe are MicroStrategy's wallets. So they technically already know which wallets are MicroStrategy's. So why wouldn't MicroStrategy just post those directly? Well, let's listen to what Michael Saylor said last year when they asked him this question. Let's listen in. I'm going to play it a little faster than normal speed.
Hey, Mr. Saylor, huge fan of everything you've done. Does Strategy have any plans to publish their on-chain proof of reserves?
Yeah, proof of reserve is an interesting thing. Let me make the following point. A lot of people learn stuff from FTX and Mt. Gox, but I'm not sure they learned the things that the institutional community needs to learn going forward. The way that the current conventional way to publish proof of reserves is an insecure proof of reserves. It actually dilutes the security of the issuer, the custodians, the exchanges, and the investors. It's not a good idea. It's a bad idea. It's like publishing the address and the bank accounts of all your kids and your phone numbers of all your kids, and then thinking somehow that makes your family better. It doesn't make your family better. So no institutional grade or enterprise security analyst would think it's a good idea to publish all of the wallet addresses such that you can be traced back and forth and every future transaction can be traced. I would say go to AI, put it in deep think mode, and then ask it, what are the security problems of publishing your wallet addresses and how might they undermine the security problem over time? It'll write you a book. It'll be 50 pages of security problems. So the problem with proof of reserves, the way people do it right now, is it's first of all, it's a proof of assets that is insecure. And it is not a proof of liabilities. And so if you really want crypto security,
we do want crypto security. And listen, they are a publicly traded company. They have to do certain things to validate that they have the Bitcoin, right? And they think that that's good enough. They're saying we're putting on with like regulator filings that we have third parties, that the Bitcoin is there, that it's not rehypothecated, and that's good enough. But a lot of people in crypto would say it's not good enough. And again, it doesn't have anything to do with fraud, right? It more has to do with the fact that if you're buying something, you want to make sure that it's there, right? Same thing like we're seeing in silver and gold mining right now. A lot of these mining companies haven't even been in operation for years. The stock is still there, and these stocks have gone up 30 times, 30x. And they're not even mining gold or silver right now, but because the price of gold and silver go up, they go up as well. Well, as an investor, wouldn't you want to know if you're buying a mining company, whether they're actually mining or not? Of course. Same thing here. And so the question is going to continue to be asked whether they have the Bitcoin, whether they don't. The more Bitcoin that they do have, the more of the question it's going to be, because there is risk here. I don't know how big the risk is, because again, I don't know. I'm taking Michael Saylor at his word. Again, I'm not a MicroStrategy investor, so it doesn't necessarily matter, but the contagion effects will matter. Whether you like Michael Saylor, like MicroStrategy, don't like, it doesn't matter. It's going to affect every aspect of this market that you can imagine. And so understanding that, then we have to ask the question, what are these other Bitcoin treasury companies doing? / what are they going to do? Especially most of them, the charts look like this. I mean, complete wipeout over the last 6 months, even though Bitcoin has hit all-time record highs over the last 6 months from when I'm recording this video. Middle of 2025 into 2026, Bitcoin hit all-time record highs. And all of these Bitcoin treasury companies are down massively, some of them 99%. Look at MicroStrategy from its top to the beginning of 2026, down 70%. Nakamoto, middle of 2025 to the beginning of 2026, down 99%. And so if any of these companies blink when it comes to security of their Bitcoin, this could have contagion effects to the rest of the crypto ecosystem and to the digital asset treasury ecosystem of stocks. And I would imagine these could go down another 99% if we see one of these companies crack. Now, what that means, I don't know. I mean, we've already seen acquisitions where Strive has just recently purchased Semler Scientific and the stock has gone lower. But now you're going to see the transfer of the Bitcoin from one company to another. What if this happens again and the Bitcoin isn't there? Or there's something that goes wrong in the Bitcoin transfer and Bitcoin goes missing? This could create contagion effects where the prices of the stocks go precipitously down, regardless if those companies are exposed to the risks or not. And so that's really important to understand that MicroStrategy, I don't know that they're ever going to post the proof of reserves. I don't know that it's going to matter, but when I'm talking about downside in the market and downside risk in the market, this is huge. And this could potentially create the capitulation event that brings all of Bitcoin down, all the Bitcoin treasury companies down, and create a great buying opportunity. But we're gonna have to wait and monitor the markets and monitor what happens, and most importantly, monitor the sentiment in the market after any of these events do potentially occur. Again, I don't personally think that MicroStrategy is any risk in itself. I think they're too big for rehypothecation or for theft to potentially occur in any meaningful way for MicroStrategy. At least I hope. Because if MicroStrategy is the one that gets hit from a theft or missing Bitcoin or something like that, I mean, I don't even, there may be no floor in the price of cryptos. But I think MicroStrategy is okay. I think it's going to be one of these other companies because, again, these companies are already down. They're going to be delisted from the stock market. And then what happens? What happens to these companies then? If they keep going lower and they are holding all this Bitcoin, maybe they're going to have to capitulate and sell. Maybe they're going to be acquired by another company. That company may go under also. They may be acquired by another company, and then they may be acquired. And we're not even in the depths of the bear market yet. We're just starting to rotate into the bear market. So we'll have to wait and monitor and see. But let me know what you guys think about proof of reserves, about MicroStrategy's Trust Me Bro complex with the whole we don't rehypothecate. And what other ways do you think that they can kind of ease some of the concerns in the market about these situations with not showing proof of reserves? Let me know down below in the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video. As always, thanks for watching.